Hey, it's Ace from Ace of Spades Tarot. Welcome back, everyone, to this new channel. I am truly grateful for all who are joining in the collective energy of these readings. If you are new, which I'm guessing most of you are, please do subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. Share it with friends. Feel free to comment respectfully. And if what I say resonates with you, then please hit the like button. Of course, it is a general collective reading, not a personal reading. So it won't resonate for every person. Please take from it only what relates to your own situation and leave the rest. The series will be focused on intimate relationships, partnerships, most likely romantic, but also applies to close personal friendships, family members, business partnerships, etc. And these readings can apply to anyone who has prominent Gemini placements in their natal charts. I'm really trying to focus in this series, though, on the energy specifically for those with their Venus, Moon, and or Mars in Gemini, as these planets have to do with how we love, our emotions, and how we take action, respectively. If you do not know how to find your natal chart information, or you would like to delve deeper into your personal chart, or you're interested in a private reading, my email will be in the description box below. So feel free to email me for further information. Okay, so Gemini, let's get started with your mid-April to mid-May love and intimate partnership reading. Just as a reminder, again, time is fluid, so whenever this reading finds you, trust that it is meant to find you at that time. And also, gender in tarot is also fluid, so do not assign gender roles for the characters depicted on the keys. We all have masculine and feminine energy, and so please adjust your perspective of the reading to however it most resonates with you, and or any energy that might be directly involved with your situation, or with you. Okay, so to get started, we'll do I'm going to card for kind of the general overview of what to expect here. Just the general energy of the Gemini collective, please, Spirit. Venus, Moon, Mars, any other prominent placements for Gemini. Okay, let's see here. Ten of Pentacles and Knight of Pentacles. Interesting. Spirit saying look at the bottom of the deck. Which is so strange because I have shuffled these cards totally and completely between readings. As you can see, the last reading was daylight outside. This is much later, as I do meditate on the energy before, and the Hierophant was also in the bottom of the Taurus reading, and I believe the Ten of Pentacles actually started off for the Aries reading. So that's just so interesting. Saying the deck, Queen of Swords. Interesting. Queen of Swords. Knight of Pentacles, steady progress, sharp and assertive, spiritual. So either you might be a Gemini dealing with a Taurus, either a Taurus sun or a Taurus, in rising moon, Venus, Mars. Yeah, just interesting energy. I'm getting a lot of possible mismatched energy, but it might be misplaced because it seems to be, if this is a business partnership, it definitely seems to be something that is working out and continuing to work out. And if it is a romantic relationship, it could be that there are at times where words get in the way. It's Four of Swords and the Three of Swords. So either one or both of you, I believe, has gone through a period where they feel like the other wasn't being heard. Now, this could be past or present. Again, time is fluid. So take it as you will. Only you will really know that. Sure, why I move that. Okay, what to move it. I'm going to get an animal spirit energy from the wild unknown. Okay, bat. Interesting. Let's get one more here. One more for the Gemini collective, and or the person they are thinking about, please. Taurus, Mercury is in Taurus at the moment, is moving into Gemini, I believe, on the 29th of April. So there could be, there definitely could be communication. The way people communicate to each other could be, if you are dealing with someone who has maybe Mercury in Taurus or Mercury in Gemini, the way you communicate to each other or your love languages might be different. Just kind of what I'm picking up. Thank you. Earthworm. Yeah, that's so interesting. I'm really getting a strong feeling of Taurus energy here with this earthworm, and then this is earth energy here, and then this bat energy. But it's interesting because despite the fact that the bat is an air sign, bats use sonar to hear. They're blind as a bat, obviously, is a saying for a reason. But what's interesting is that in this depiction, the bat is colored so red, and it's the red of the root chakra, which means that the Geminis, I think that I might be picking up the energy of our you could be cuspers, you could be Taurus Gemini cuspers. You also just could be be healthily grounded, which is wonderful. But again, it's interesting because we have this bat, right, and this Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles being Virgo energy, but the depiction on the Ten of Pentacles, this Ten of Pentacles card is a whale, right? And whales do these deep dives into dark places, right? And then they kind of come up for air. And a bat, if you think about a bat, it's a nocturnal creature, and kind of survives in the dark because it doesn't need to be in the light. And it kind of, in both of these images. You have the whale kind of coming up, right? This kind of, coming up out of the water before splashing back down and doing another deep dive. And you have the bat kind of flying away from the light of the moon back into its darkness. So it's just kind of interesting because they're both creatures that kind of live in the depths and yet come into the light at certain points for different reasons. But again, sometimes there can be a mismatch there in communication. And then it's interesting because we have this Knight of Pentacles and this Earthworm, right? And that is showing me, and it's so interesting because even if you look at the, it's actually kind of the stone that I have here. It's a stone I found in childhood with almost the same shell formation on it. But that aside, sorry, ADD. But the way that it's curled up in itself on this shell, right? This earthworm is doing the same, and it the color here is so muted, right? It's all this kind of muted tones, and yet around the earthworm you see these kind of muted tones as well. But within the earthworm is all of the colors of the chakras, like except for we don't see much of this root chakra, this red of this root chakra, but we see the yellow and the yellow of the sacral chakra, and the orange of the solar plexus chakra, and the blue of the throat chakra, and leading into the purples and the pinks of the crown chakra. It's beautiful energy kind of wrapped in. But you think about an earthworm also burrows, right? Earthworms don't really see either. They burrow into the earth. So we have this kind of juxtaposition of very similar energies, all doing kind of the same thing, but just in a different way. I mean, even in this Knight of Pentacles card, the steady progress, and an earthworm continues to make steady progress, right? As they create their tunnels, and this whatever inhabits the shell, whatever crab has kind of found its way into the shell to make it its home, it burrows into the sand, right? And burrows and into the rocks, and it's kind of a fascinating how we have all of these energies, but they all kind of make sense in a really odd way. So maybe you're in a kind of quirky partnership with someone, whether it's personal, like romantic, or whether it's business, or maybe you're your soulmate or your best friend, or or maybe you're part of a family that's just like everyone got their own thing, but when it comes down at the end of the day, you're all really similar but in different ways, if that makes any sense. Yeah, really, really fascinating. I like it though. I mean, it feels good. At first it felt kind of confusing, and I was getting kind of a message of miscommunication, but I feel like in whatever way, Gemini, you and whoever you're kind of, the person that you're thinking about when watching this reading, have found kind of a way to transgress what might seem like the odd couple or the unlikely pair, or and found ways to communicate with each other that are actually on that same frequency, even if other people don't see it. So again, this reading I'm sure is not for everyone. Maybe it's only for a couple of you or one of you. I don't know, but I'm definitely picking up something along those lines. So we'll start off with your energy here. This is the Fountain Tarot, and we will see how you see yourself in the relationship. How does Gemini view themselves in the relationship? Thank you. As the Hangman, Piscean energy. Interesting. Okay, so gaining a new perspective on things. Gaining a new perspective. And how does Gemini see the person that is on their mind, is most on their mind? This Gemini gave far too many here. Thank you. Six of Cups. Oh, beautiful energy. I mean, you know, Six of Cups is really that kind of soulmate, you know, nostalgic, pure, innocent love energy, you know, just kind of, you know, youthful and naive and pure of heart and just really beautiful. And it's so interesting because it almost replicates the same tones and the same shape of this shell here, of this Knight of Pentacles, right? Oh, that's lovely. That's how you view your person. And how do you view the relationship? How does Gemini view the relationship, please, Spirit? Nope, sorry, they said not those. How does Gemini view the relationship? I'll take another shuffle of these. Thank you. How does Gemini view the relationship, please? Gemini view the relationship, please? How does Gemini view the relationship, please? The Nine of Wands. Get one more, please, Spirit. The Nine of Wands. And the King of Pentacles. Okay, we're going to need to clarify in a minute. Let's go to your person. Because here's where I'm seeing some difficulties that might be coming in. But let's see first. Okay, how does the person on Gemini's 9 view? Two cards. Page of Swords and the Queen of Cups. Okay. Page of Swords. You know, pages are messengers. It's almost like, you know, this is the Dream Keeper's Tarot, by the way. It's almost like she's waiting for a message to be received, right? She's kind of standing there ready to go into action. But in the same way, this Hangman is kind of waiting. She's almost suspended, you know. It's almost like someone's frozen her in time. And I've never really noticed that before, but she's just kind of waiting for the lark to sing, waiting for that trumpet, waiting for the call to action. And then this Queen of Cups, and you know, the Queen of Cups is you know, beautiful energy in terms of, you know, someone who is emotionally mature and in control of their you know, emotions in terms of how they, you know, their cup is full. They offer it. Not always. I don't see the Queen of Cups as offering her cup freely, but you know, when she does offer it, it's incredibly sincere and it's, you know, it's majestic and it's true. You know, it's not the Page of Cups here. It's you know, she knows what she's doing. So, but it's also interesting because in this deck, you know, instead of her head, instead her head is replaced by the crescent moon as she holds her cups. And it's, you know, water signs are definitely very much lunar lunar signs, because, if you think water controls the tides, the ebbs and the flows and whatnot, and affects our emotions. It affects it affects all humans, as our bodies are made up mostly of water. So it's it's interesting because she's so connected to that part of nature, and I feel like this hanged man here, which is again Piscean energy. It's interesting that they have him placed above what could be a field or what could be water. It's not necessarily specific. But the sun is what's illuminating him in the background. So there is this this duality of moon and sun, and this kind of feeling of pause for both of you. So how does the person on Gemini's mind see Gemini, please? High Priestess. Wow, again, it's another card of Pisces, and also of Cancer for me as a reader. I mean, she's intuition incarnate. It's she sits high upon her perch here in this depiction, and I just think so. It's interesting that you have two cards of Piscean energy, right? And then you have, the Queen of Cups is, just give me 1 second. The Queen of Cups is also this watery energy. So we have, I feel strongly that you could be dealing with a water sign, or you have water prominently in your chart. If we go by the cards, the King of Pentacles here. That's Taurian energy. So again, could be dealing with a Taurus, could be a Gemini Taurus cusp. But there's something that's burdening the relationship, and so let's see how does Gemini's person view the relationship, please, Spirit? Show me how Gemini's person views the relationship, please. The Emperor. Okay. So we have, you view the relationship, Nine of Wands, which is kind of the wounded warrior card in a way, but in this, it's like he's built himself a ladder and he's determined to finish it, and he can't really stop, or he'll fall down the pyramid. So he's holding on to all of the wands that he's built up thus far to complete his mission. And so maybe it's the way you see the relationship is that it's a burden behind the scenes, right? Because the king, he doesn't really question how his castle was built, but the character on the Nine of Wands is the one doing the building, right? So it's like he knows that it had to have been built, but maybe suppressing the burden that comes with the building of the infrastructure. If there's no other better way to say it, I guess. Sorry, infrastructure is just, it sounds silly, but it's interesting because you do have this Ten of Pentacles, right? Is the first card that came out, this ultimate achievement. So it's like you've made it, you've mastered you've climbed the pyramid, you've mastered it, you're sitting in Ten of Pentacles energy, and that's how you see your relationship. But it seems like it could possibly be something that's more mutually beneficial at this point. Maybe you're a couple that has been together for a long time, or a business partnership that has been together for a long time, and how you see them is how you saw them when you met them when you first met whoever this person is, and how they see you as someone who's incredibly intuitive and wise, and you see yourself as the hangman. And so, I mean, the fact that you see yourself in Piscean energy, and they see you in Piscean energy, it's quite interesting. And they see the relationship as the Emperor. So it's like, again, the King of Pentacles is really kind of aware of the labor that has gone in. And, the Emperor, as we're coming out of Aries season and into Taurus season, and this is major arcana for Aries and also Capricorn for me as a reader. So if that, could be in your chart or in your person's chart. But, the Emperor he rules an empire. He's not just a king. He's all four kings in one. And it's funny because he has these red robes, right? Like the bat here. Like, it's really the red of the wings of this bat, and kind of surrounded, if you will, by, surrounding him is kind of a darkness, same like the bat, right? With only, the bones of the wings of the bat are kind of highlighted on the body, and same with the gold on the robe. So it's just a really interesting, similar card. And I think you both see this as a successful partnership. Yet I feel like one maybe carries the burdens more than perhaps the other. Or I'm actually getting another, that perhaps, Gemini, you take on the burdens and don't share them so much, right? Because the hangman is very much alone. He's a lone being. And, this Page of Swords, if you look, it's like she's kind of looking towards him, like, I'm waiting for you to tell me, like, I'm ready to go. What's your message? I'm listening. What can I do? And there's full trust in you, right? Because your person sees you as kind of all-knowing here. And perhaps you see your person as the person they were when you first met them, and they've grown. I mean, from Page of Swords to Queen of Cups, that's a big transition, right? And they see your relationship as running an empire together, and you feel the burden of being the king. But it takes two. So it's clearly a successful partnership. But you don't have to be afraid to let your partner take some of the burden. Let's clarify here. Why does Gemini see themselves as the hangman? Why does Gemini see themselves as the hangman? So I'm trying to make these readings quicker than the last series, but I am not so great at quick readings. You see yourself as a hangman because of the Queen of Cups. Okay. Can I have one more card, please? Sorry. Do you feel undeserving of love, Gemini? Is that what it is? Do you feel like because things have gotten complicated, and perhaps this is speaking to a couple that actually does work together? Page of Cups. Interesting. So you see yourself as the hangman because of the Queen of Cups and the Page of Cups. Now, your person sees themselves as the Page of Swords and the Queen of Cups. No, sorry. Why is that? High Priestess and the Three of Pentacles. Because they trust you and they trust your collaboration and you're working together, you know, this collaborative effort. They fully have the intuition to trust you in whatever this partnership is. And maybe again, you don't give them enough credit to be able to, you know, do the heavy lifting, so to speak. And maybe because you like thinking of them in this kind of nostalgic, you don't want it to change, just want them to, you know, be the loving, cuddly, you know, person that you love. And they still are. They clearly still are. I mean, Queen of Cups energy here. But they, you know, they fully trust you. So I really feel like whatever burden is being, as I say burden, the Ten of Wands comes out, is being placed, you know, on your back, but it's almost like it should be the Ten of Swords. Yeah, the Hermit. It makes you go within and close off. When they're ready to you know, fight for you, fight for the relationship, fight for your business. Way too many. Okay, this Ten of Pentacles again. Again, it's Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles. You have to, you might have learned your own bat signals or whale sonar, you know, whale sonars or bat sonars or you know, however it is, but and the steady progress here of, you know, it's certainly, and the groundedness is certainly there. But, you know, you have someone that trusts you innately, and I think you trust them, but you trust yourself more. I mean, it's interesting because in this depiction of this King of Coins, you know, the coin is above his head. He's not holding on to it like a typical King of Coins does. It's above his head, and it's almost like it's enlightening him, like the Hangman, right? It's like, it's I'm sorry, I just got the Emperor, you know, that has no clothes kind of deal, because the Hangman is here naked, and we have the Emperor on the board, and we have this kind of shining pentacle illuminating the king here, where there might be a fear of, like, you know, that a lot of us have of this, you know, I'm a fraud, right? Or there's a word for it that I can't think of exactly. There's a phrase for it, but, you know, feeling like you're a fraud, and you know, it's kind of like having one of those bad dreams of waking up and, you know, you missed the announcement for the test, and you are rush in and you go into class and you realize all of a sudden that you're not only not prepared, but you're naked, right? And so, but your person doesn't see you at all like that. They have complete faith, and they understand that they're running an empire, you know, with you. And that, you know, it's beautiful to look back at the Six of Cups and have nostalgia for the way things started in the simpler times. But that's not where we're at right now in this relationship. You know, we're talking about serious things. Like, you know, you guys are reaching a pinnacle of you know, of Ten of Pentacles, of Emperor, of Kings, of Queens. Like, this isn't child's play. And they understand that, and they respect you, and I think that's why this relationship works. Again, I think you both have learned to communicate with each other. What are the strengths? Three of Wands. One more, please. What are the strengths? Three of Wands. it's interesting. The Three of Wands is kind of that waiting for the ships to come in card, right? It's the creativity has been there. You've made decisions together. And the blue ribbon in this also has to do with the throat chakra and communication. But the Hangman isn't really speaking. He's pretty silent. So again, there's that kind of communication of finding your own way to communicate, which was a theme in the Aries reading as well, was communication. One more on the strengths of the relationship, please. Strengths. Gemini. Thank you. Page of Wands. Yeah, like you guys, you have a creative spark together. There's something that keeps things fresh, keeps things constantly sparking between you two. What are the weaknesses? Spirit, if you don't mind, the weaknesses, please, of the relationship here. The weaknesses of the relationship. Thank you. Page of Swords. So, one more for the weaknesses, please. Justice. And that's what's interesting, because, right, maybe you see your person as kind of waiting because they feel like they know you and they know when you'll ask them to step in when you need them. And you see them as their, the waiting period, or you might see them not as mentally equipped as you are. You're a Gemini. You are extremely mercurial and cerebral. You are a magician, and in the major arcana, and the Lovers, and so, but the Lovers is also a choice, and sometimes we have to make choices, right? Again, like sometimes we have to make choices. We can't just rely on ourselves. But again, maybe you think your person doesn't have that. You're the one that has to figure everything out. But that's kind of pot calling kettle black, right? If you're seeing yourself as hanged man and in this hangman position, how can you be mad at your partner, or not mad, but how can you see the weakness of the relationship is in their lacking of your mercurial kind of qualities, when you're the one that's hanging yourself upside down to find answers instead of sharing and talking and perhaps you're very good at reading each other, but not always on the same page of the same book, if that makes any sense. Because then we have this Justice card, right? And this card depicts the scales with, in Egypt, where in order to pass into the underworld, your heart was weighed against a feather, and if it was heavier than the feather, then you didn't pass the test. So it's interesting that it's a heart and a feather, because as as a Gemini, you're an air sign, and a heart is very much a sign of emotion as well, right? It's, our cups are our emotions in tarot. So again, it's kind of a mind versus heart thing, where you might see the weaknesses that you might see yourself as sharper mentally than your partner. But you notice that the scales are balanced here. It's not, one is not heavier than the other. They're equal. So perhaps your person is more emotional than you are. That's okay. We need people to balance us out. We can't have two super emotional. I mean, you can, but it's, it won't get you as far as two people that balance each other out, right? Someone that has the emotion, and someone that has the mind, and the mind and the heart can balance each other, can even the scales, can take the load off, so that you can run this empire together. Spirit, is there another message? Any other message here for advice? This is on the ground upside down. Interesting. On the ground was this card that I missed earlier, the Nine of Wands in reverse. I feel like that was meant to be seen now, because I feel like that is what is going to lift the burden. You know, I feel like this doesn't even, these cards don't even apply at this point. I feel like this was the card that I was meant to see. It's why those cards fell. Sorry, I don't think anything is really a coincidence when it comes to tarot. So, you know, this was the message, is let the burden of having to build everything, and even though wands are more physical energy, you know, it's that solar plexus energy, it still can be a physical energy in your mind as well, if you understand what I'm saying. So you don't have to be the wounded warrior alone. You don't have to build everything alone. I think your person sees this pretty clearly, sees you pretty clearly. And now it's your turn to untie yourself. You know, the hangman is here by choice. Untie yourself and realize that your Queen of Cups, you know, your partner here, can handle maybe more than you give them credit for. And you don't have to, you know, oftentimes we take on the burden so that we don't have to burden our partners. But your partner is ready. They already see the empire, right? They're already there. They're already envisioning it. So it's about dropping the burden on your own and balancing everything out, so that you can rule this empire, right? So that you can share in that vision, so that you can get on the same page of the same book that, you know, you're both trying to read, and just kind of missing the chapter, missing the line, missing what's not spoken between the words. You just get one final card from Spirit here, from the Sacred Geometry Activations deck, and this is a new deck for me, but I really love it. You know, the cards are absolutely beautiful, and they're so there's something so poignant about them. So just one, please. Here, let me go this way. Just one, please. Just one card to sum up this reading, please, for Gemini and the person that is on their mind. Thank you, Spirit. Discernment. Okay. Discernment. It's number 20. You know, it's interesting to break, 20 down to 2. It's the High Priestess. If you split it in half, it's 2 tens, and you have the 2 10 of Pentacles here. But the frequency of discernment supports our ability to view the world and the people around us from a place of inner balance and detachment, yet with compassion and wisdom. It's really interesting, because that's really what the Hangman is doing, right? It's gaining a new perspective and really seeing the people around us, not for who they were when we met them, or who we kind of, have nostalgia for something that's kind of a rose-colored memory in our mind, but for who they really are, and their strength and their power within their own right. So that's just it's a great message to take away. I think this is a time to be discerning, especially, with everything that's going on. And it looks like you have been, but you can relax the guard a bit, Gemini. That's all I'm saying. You can relax the guard a bit, and you know accept that you don't have to go at it alone. This queen doesn't need protection. She's already in emperor mode. She already views both of you as running an empire together. Or he. I'm sorry. For what, I don't know why I feel like I'm speaking to male Geminis right now. It's so maybe I'm speaking to some male Geminis. But male, male, female, female, male, female, female, male, doesn't matter. It's all fluid. Just a really interesting reading. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you, and I hope you got something out of it and it helped clarify maybe something you were going through, or if not, something a friend of yours might be going through, and because if it's not your story, it's somebody's. So again, thank you for joining me so much in this energy. I'm really appreciative. Again, and please like, share, subscribe, comment, and feel free to email me with any questions or for private readings if you are interested. Okay, ciao for now, Gemini. Namaste.